Hi everyone, it's KIREI here for Arden Creative Studio, and I have a brand new layout using the fabulous new vintage Christmas collection by Kathy Shuttleworth. And I'm using a mixture of papers from the 12 by 12 paper pad, the 8 by 8 paper pad, and I'm also using the ephemera, the rub-ons, and the enamel dots. Now, I loved this giant poinsettia, so I thought I knew what I needed to do. I was going to fussy cut it out, which I do. I do love a bit of fussy cutting, to be completely honest. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. But I just felt like I wanted to create a bit more of a dimensional effect with the poinsettia. So I've cut it out. I've got the bright paper behind, and this collection is full of bold colors. So it has the reds, the greens, it has purples within it, and there are also some a blue. There's nothing blue particularly that I'm working with today, but there's some blues as well in the papers and ephemera. So I've trimmed down the pattern paper background, and I'm just going to distress the edges, and that will go onto my white cardstock. I felt like I needed to bring in a bit of white because the colours are so bold. I just needed something to sort of balance it. So I'm adding it to the white. I like the white frame, and I am going to add some machine stitching to create a border just with white thread. So there we go, all done. You can see that I've really distressed the edges. I've torn them. I've sort of curled them in a little bit. So yeah, so I'm really liking the texture that's creating at this point in time. Then I thought I need to add some splatters, of course. So I've just got some white paint, and I'm just watering it down so that it will splatter nice and easily across my layers. I'm just going to do that all over the background, and then I will leave that to dry and then I'll come back to it. So yeah, nice and easy. So, and I'm liking how that looks with the large poinsettia. Okay, so all dry now. But I was playing around a little bit, and I still felt like I needed a bit more white in that background. So again, creating another layer here, which I love to do. So I'm definitely all about layers and dimension. Now, what I was really struggling with was actually the large poinsettia. As much as I loved it, it was just quite large with my photo, and I just couldn't make it work. I had some small photos as well that I wanted to add in, and it just wasn't really working for me. However, in the 8 by 8 paper pad, of course, there is the same pattern paper with the poinsettia. So I was able to just fussy cut that out and utilize that. So that's actually worked perfectly, and I'm much happy with how that's looking. So I'm layering up the poinsettia with ephemera elements from the ephemera pack. So more poinsettias, holly leaves, and then I've just brought in a couple of strips of pattern paper in that limey green and the purple tones, and I'm just going to layer that up in the background to create almost a bit of a shelf, if you like, for my photo. And then with my photo, I'm just mounting it on a mix of the pattern papers as well. So I'm just using the purple, the green, and I will add a bit of the sort of reddy background, similar to the background actually. So I'll just layer those pieces up. They're not all completely even sizes. It's going to be laid up behind my photo. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to get these elements stuck down. So I can start to really finish the layout. So just sticking down the strips across the back. I've obviously cut them so that they extend to both sides as I want. So it works well when you've just got small scraps left, and you just need you want a longer piece of pattern paper, so you won't see that when it's tucked behind the poinsettia. So I can get my white card square stuck on, and then again, really just sort of tearing and distressing and folding over the edges. You'll see that a little bit more as I go on, but yeah, just sort of folding those bits in now, just to replicate that larger background that I've already done. Okay, yes, still doing more of my distressing and lifting and tearing. Again, it's just something I do. I don't do it as like as heavily on every layout, but I definitely like distressed edges simply just because I like the sort of difference, that texture that it adds to the layout, but it also just creates a bit of a difference between when you're layering between each layer as well. So now I can get the poinsettia stuck down. And I'm just going to, I will add some foam pads just in the center there because I've already got the papers on either side, which are giving it a little bit more dimension. So I'll just do that and then I can get that stuck down. But this is coming together nicely now. But I have to say, it did take me a little while because I think I was pretty determined to use the large poinsettia, and it just wasn't working for me. And I will use it. I'll use it in another layer. Definitely, I will work out how I'm going to use it, but definitely I will use it in another layer. Right, the rub-ons. Love the rub-ons. Okay, so I've just got this one here, and I'm just going to add it to that green area there. Just because I felt like I needed something on it. It felt a little plain to me, but I've trimmed off that little end of it, and it's over there on the left, and you'll see what I do with that later. So I'll get that rub on down, and then I can add my ephemera pieces over that, the small poinsettias and holly leaves. So there we go, and that works well. I'm happy with that. So my photo now, just add some foam tape to the top and then I'll leave it flat at the bottom. So I'm just making sure I'm happy with where it's going to sit. But you'll notice a little bit of the poinsettia leaf is popping out on the right, just sort of feels a bit odd. So I'll trim those off in just a moment, just so that they're not showing. There we go. Just take them out the way. Then I can get my photo down and start to add the embellishment clusters. Just make sure it's nice and straight. I could not do without that T-square, I have to say. I'm a bit of quite particular about having things straight. My friends who know me know absolutely. I'm a bit like, the whole practically perfect sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So I'm happy with that. Now I've got the title there, Happy Christmas, but I wasn't completely sure. I was playing around with it for a bit. So you'll see it moves on in just a moment. Here we go. Now that's the little piece I cut off from the end of the rub-on, and I realised I had a little end over here with the green that it would fit perfectly. So it's a bit like a continuation. So yeah, just adding that there, and then you'll see I've now moved to the Joy to the World title. I really liked that. And it was just a little bit bigger, a bit more white on it. And I thought, no, actually, that seemed to work better for me. So, yeah, I'm going to raise that up on foam pads. So I'm just cutting strips of those to fit. And then I can make sure I'm happy with the placement of everything. So, yeah, and then we've got I love enamel dots, just add a little bit of detail. But I've got distracted. There's some more rub-ons. I just spotted these little pieces here. They're sort of like berry clusters, and there's a green one and a red one. And I thought I would just add those in to each of my to the top and the bottom. So this gives me a bit of red up there at the top cluster because it's quite a lot of the green and the sort of purple. So yeah, just bringing in a bit of the red, and then I've got the green one down the bottom here. I do play around with it. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go, but it's just going to sit under here at the bottom, not there. And yeah, and again, by adding rub-ons, you create almost another layer. So you've got your white card, you've got your rub-ons, and then you've got your ephemera and other layers of pattern paper. So again, it's that dimensional feel that I really like. So that's how rub-ons for me work really, really well. Okay, I can get the Joy to the World stuck down now. And as I say, we're almost done. Back to the enamel dots, and I'm just going to add some enamel dots into my clusters, so around the bottom here, and I'm just using a mix of the red, the green, and the purple colours, and I will add some as well to the top cluster. So, and that's pretty much it done. I will add some journaling to the bottom of the layout, just under the on the white card there, under the photo, and yeah, it eventually came together. I'm really happy with how it ended up. As I say, just you can start with something, and sometimes you just find that you need to make a tweak to it to make it work for you. And this definitely did that with using that smaller poinsettia. Much happier. I'm really pleased with how it looks. So here we go. Here's the close-ups. You'll see the fabulous the details, those lovely bright bold colours. Vintage Christmas collection from Arden Creative Studio. Thanks so much for watching. See you again in my next video. Bye for now.